Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo, and welcome to my scrapbook table. This is my layout for the Beautiful Blossoms Challenge design team, and the challenge is always to use florals. And so I have paired bright, beautiful florals, both die cuts and rub-ons, with some very old photos. I have 8 photos here that are from my father's side of the family. The oldest here was taken in 1928, as far as I can tell. I have these beautiful bright rub-ons from Simple Stories, and I went through my dies and scraps of paper and cut out a whole bunch of florals and leaves. I also put some doilies there that I thought I might use, but those end up not being on the page. Now, on the backs of these photos, my mother had handwritten some information about who it was or the year if she knew, and I didn't want to lose all of that. So I made a photocopy, and at this point, I hadn't decided if I was going to cut it up and use it on the layout or just tuck it behind the layout. You'll see that I ended up cutting and using parts of it. And what I had done, I put little post-it numbers on each photo and numbered the writing on the copy because I don't know all of these people. In fact, other than my parents and my sister, I only knew one or two of these people personally. My paternal grandfather died about a decade before I was born, so I never knew him, and he is featured in some of these photos. So I kind of penciled in, you can see a little bit there, where I wanted my pictures to be, and that helped me make some decisions about where to do the rub-ons. I absolutely love this camera with the floral. I use a lot of cameras in my scrapbooking. If a page doesn't really have a theme, cameras are something that can often be used for ephemera and embellishment, and I use them a lot. I have them in wood, I have die cuts, and now I have this rub-on. You can see that I have Good Life up there. That ends up not going on the page. I save that for something else. And I don't have you watch me do all of these rub-ons. They were a little tricky. Some places they didn't want to stick well, so I had to put the paper back. So you'll see in a moment here that I cut to where I have all the photos back on where I want them, and I still have numbers on them so that I can get them labeled correctly and do the journaling right. I tucked the post-its between the photo and the gray mat that I had chosen. The background paper, I'm not sure where it's from. It's just in my stash. I really like the back of it too. The back is a pretty black with a cream colored floral print on it, but I opted for this. I thought it suited the feel of the photos better, and it gave a nice neutral place for all the colorful flowers that I'm going to use to be on. And I know usually with heritage photos we use more subdued colors, and I do that too. I have lots of heritage photo layouts that I have used mainly tans or grays and maybe a subtle blue or something. But I don't know. I've had these rub-ons for a while. They've been laying on my table. I wanted to use them. I knew they would work well for the design challenge, the Beautiful Blossoms blog challenge. And I had these photos, and I thought, if I do everything neutral there, it's just going to be too neutral. So I thought, why not? And I posted to a Facebook group that I'm part of, and I said, what do you think about pairing really old heritage photos with bright, bright florals? And they said, go for it. So I did. And I do like it. I'm happy with how this turned out. It's certainly not a traditional heritage page, but that's okay with me. And now I've decided that I am going to cut this apart. And for some of them, I do adhere my mom's handwriting beside, or in one case on, the photo. For others, I just use the information to write it myself. And here I've written some journaling telling about my paternal grandfather and his brother, who I did know very well as a child growing up, and a little bit about that. I've glued most of the florals on, and I created a big embellishment cluster to the far left and a smaller one at the top and then the lower right, just to create that triangle. I have a lot of leaves. I actually, for most of these florals and leaves, I used scraps of mixed media paper that I had used for other projects that just goes in a bin. I have 4 drawers where I keep scraps of paper, and I include, if I create some mixed media and use part of it for a project, the leftovers go in those drawers. And they actually made beautiful flowers and leaves, so I'm going to keep doing that. That was a good decision that day when I decided I was going to start keeping those things. Pardon me. So I layered up some of the flowers. I used different leaves in greens and yellow greens. I picked colors that coordinate nicely with the rub-ons. Right now you can see there's kind of a blank space in the center of the layout on the left-hand page, near where I'm going to glue this down. I actually end up moving this in a moment. But I do end up adding a rub on there because I felt like it needed something to join the 2 pages together and to bring that color more to the middle. So you'll see that I do that in a moment. I have a lot of various leaf and floral dies, and leaf dies are one of the best investments I've made because I use them a lot. They can be used in subtle colors, or here I've used them really brightly, but I think they add a lot to an embellishment cluster. I don't know how well you can see it, but the photo on the bottom right, that's my sister and our paternal grandparents. She knew my grandfather growing up. I came along later in life from my parents, and my siblings were all teenagers when I was born. So she knew them. I only knew my grandma till I was 9. She passed away when I was 9. But I have some fond memories of her, and I have a photo that I'm going to do a layout and just write about my memories of my grandma. And this page doesn't really have a title, but I did use some rub-on words. One says beautiful, one says memories, and one says wonderful. And here's where I decide I need to put this word memories underneath this photo. So I tuck it in right there. Trying to tuck it in anyway. There we go. Yeah, it's a rub-on. I wanted to tuck it under the photo mostly because I cut it out of a larger cluster. I didn't want what was above it. I think it said happy memories. And not that these were unhappy memories, but they're not really my memories. I don't know a lot about these photos or even most of these people. So I just cut that part off. It probably would have been fine either way. And here's where I decide it's going to go on the photo, which I don't usually glue things on top of photos, but there is nothing at the bottom of that photo. It's kind of dead space. So I felt okay with, even though it's a heritage photo and one of a kind, that I was fine with covering it up at the bottom. There we go. I also, it's probably going to be really hard to see on the screen, but I added a couple quotes. One is in white and you don't see it at all. You hardly even see it in real life. So I could have just as easily left that off. But I had some, I think they were clear stickers from Creative Memories. And some of them were about like the value of hard work and integrity and strength. And I added those because my ancestors definitely came from people who were hardworking and had integrity and inner strength. And so I felt those were a good addition to this page. Now it's kind of funny that if you see the image of a doily that's under my arm right now on the far left. So when I lift my arm up there, you should see a little bit of a half a doily on the far left, and there's another at the top right. I wanted them like that because I didn't want the pages situated exactly the same way, but that means that the very faint print in some places on the right hand page that's on that background paper, the type is upside down. I don't know if anyone will ever notice because you don't look at it and really see words. So I decided, yeah, it kind of bugged me, but I was just going to go with it because it was going to bug me more if the doilies were not in opposite corners. So that's what I did. I guess it'll be fun as people look at the album someday to see if anyone says, hey, these words are upside down. Because again, you can't even really read words in it. It's just very faint type. So I was okay with that. I did add some little pearls to the center of my flowers because those felt old-fashioned to me and like they suited the photos nicely. I thought I was out of these pearls. I'm pretty sure I bought them from Stampin' Up! Many years ago. Sorry, that was a notification coming through. I thought I turned those off. Anyway, I added the pearls. I do think they're from Stampin' Up! And then I went through with this silvery, really dark silver color of Nuvo drops and added those in various places. And usually I struggle with those, but I like how I did them on this page, so I was happy with that. And this must be where I was searching through my sticker boxes for something else that would work on here. Oh, and then I did some journaling. I just wrote about that these were DeLong family photos and a little bit about some of the people. Probably the biggest character of this group is the woman you see in the bottom left. Her name was... what was her name? I have it written on here somewhere. Oh, Grammy. They all called her Grammy DeLong. Her name was Bertha Clara. Or some people say it was Clara Bertha. I'm not sure. Anyway, I guess she was a very strong-willed person. And so maybe that's where I get mine. I never knew her, but I have heard so many stories about her from my parents and my siblings. So I'm grateful that you joined me today for this video. I would love to know if you scrapbook with heritage photos and how you take care of yours. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did so. I'm grateful you joined me today. I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.